It was a rainy Thursday evening in the bustling city of Nairobi. The streets buzzed with honking matatus, people darting for shelter under shop canopies, and flashing lights from stalled traffic. Amid the chaos, a frail figure in a threadbare coat crouched behind a bakery dumpster, trying to stay dry. His name was Mzee Okello, a once brilliant computer science lecturer turned invisible man, homeless, hungry, and forgotten. He wasn't always this way. 10 years ago, Okello had led software development workshops across East Africa. But when a tech firm betrayed him, stealing his patent and leaving him penniless, the court cases dragged on, and his wife's cancer worsened. He sold everything for her treatment, only for her to die in a cold hospital corridor. The grief devoured him. Slowly, Okello drifted off society's radar, becoming just another face in the crowd people pretended not to see. But fate was not done with him. Just across the road from where Okello shivered in the rain, a glossy black Mercedes pulled up to the curb of a co-working space. The driver stepped out and opened the door for a tall, sharply dressed woman in her early 30s. Her name was Adana Mwangi. Billionaire, single mother, and CEO of Afrivault, a data security startup breaking boundaries in the fintech world. Adana had risen from poverty herself, her mother a tomato seller in Kisumu, her father a mechanic. After earning a scholarship to MIT and returning to Africa, she made her fortune by building tools to help African banks safeguard their online assets. But tonight, she was troubled. Very troubled. Clutching a tablet, she walked briskly into the glass building, her heels clicking sharply against the polished floor. Inside, her team had gathered in panic. There was a problem. "We can't crack the source code from the competitor's malware," her lead engineer, Wanja, said. "It's obfuscated in old-style Python 2.3. It's vintage. And someone embedded Swahili variables and proverbs in it. Weird stuff." Adana frowned. "We need to reverse engineer this code before tomorrow's pitch. That code might hold the key to exposing the cyber attacks targeting Kenyan banks. We don't crack it, we lose investors. And innocent people lose money." One young intern mumbled, "There's someone I saw on the street who was talking about Swahili coding." The room went silent. Adana turned. "Who?" "He's homeless. Stays near Jirani Bakery. Keeps muttering things like recursive loops, hex tables, and something about colonials messing up Swahili syntax in tech." Thought he was mad. Adana didn't hesitate. She grabbed her umbrella. Across the street, Okello was mumbling to himself, drawing flowcharts in the mud with a stick. When the Mercedes stopped and a woman approached him in heels and a trench coat, he looked up, confused. "You speak in code," she said. "You know Python?" His eyes narrowed. "Python bites, but I taught it to crawl before it walked." "Who wants to know?" Adana knelt, her voice soft but urgent. "I have a code I can't translate. My team's stuck. I was told you might be able to help." He chuckled dryly. They finally admit the madman might be sane. Without another word, she offered him her hand. Inside the office, the team recoiled when Adana walked in with the soaked, barefoot old man. But she silenced them with a glance. Okello was handed a chair, towel, and the encrypted code. He squinted at the screen, cracked his knuckles, and started typing. Within 5 minutes, he stopped and turned. Whoever wrote this code embedded a proverb engine. Each Swahili variable maps to a moral lesson. For example, this segment reads, "Even a goat, when cornered, becomes a lion." It's not just malware, it's sending messages. Warnings. Adana leaned in, fascinated. "What does that mean?" "It means your attacker knows you. Personally. They're not just sabotaging your business. They're playing psychological games." The team gasped. Wanja stared at the screen. "He's right. I see it now. This malware, it's been tailored to mimic our own algorithms." Okello went deeper. And here, this code signature. This isn't just someone from your past. This is someone from MIT. Adana froze. Her fingers tightened around the chair's edge. She remembered. Benson. They were once coding partners, top of their class, until he sabotaged her thesis and falsely accused her of intellectual theft. He was expelled, but bitter. She had heard whispers that he'd resurfaced in the dark web. Suddenly, the gravity of the situation hit her. This is a cyber attack disguised as a personal vendetta, she whispered. For the next 12 hours, Okello became the soul of the operation. He cleaned up the code, translated variable maps, built a traceback that led to an IP address outside Kampala. His hands shook from fatigue, but his mind was razor sharp. His attack vector is through your banking app's update line. He's waiting for your next system-wide patch to launch the payload. Adana turned pale. That update was scheduled for 9 a.m., just 3 hours away. She called her legal team and the board. We halt the update. Delay the patch. We neutralize the malware before it deploys. Thanks to Okello's rapid translation and tracing, they not only prevented the breach, but exposed Benson's network of fake fintech startups involved in siphoning microtransactions from ordinary users. The next morning, as the sun rose over Nairobi's skyline, Adana stood before the press. We were targeted by a shadowy cyber criminal. But thanks to a brilliant mind, someone whom society discarded, we not only survived, we uncovered a cyber fraud ring targeting all of East Africa. Behind her, Okello stood quietly, freshly groomed, in a donated suit. The crowd clapped. Cameras flashed. The internet buzzed. But behind the applause, a deeper truth hung in the air. Later that evening, back in her office, Adana made an offer. You don't have to live on the street anymore. Come work with us. I want to give you your life back. Okello looked out the window for a long while. I'm not sure I can go back, he said softly. The world I knew, my wife, my students, my dreams, it's all changed. But I can build new ones, if someone gives me a reason. Adana smiled. Then let this be the reason. She gave him a tablet. A proposal. A new program under AfriVault. Project Phoenix, an initiative to hire, rehabilitate, and retrain homeless tech minds across Africa. Okello signed. With shaking hands. With tearful eyes. And that night, under Nairobi's neon glow, a once broken man started a new chapter, one keystroke at a time. Sometimes, the greatest minds are those forgotten by society, buried under layers of hardship, invisible to the privileged eye. But brilliance never truly dies. It waits. And when kindness meets opportunity, even a broken life can resurrect into something far more powerful than gold, purpose. The media frenzy didn't die down for days. News outlets across Africa hailed Adana Mwangi and her anonymous savior. While she refused to reveal Okello's name publicly, calling him only the professor, tech circles buzzed with curiosity about the mysterious mind behind AfriVault's salvation. But inside the company, Okello's presence was stirring discomfort. Whispers grew in the hallways. He was homeless. Can he really be trusted with sensitive data? He talks to himself sometimes. Maybe he's unstable. One junior engineer, Brian, even said, this guy might be a security risk. What if he's working with the attacker? Adana shut down every murmur with a firm hand. He saved us. He has earned our trust. Don't confuse poverty with criminality. Still, the tension lingered. Okello noticed the glances, the distance. He kept to himself, spending most of his time in the server room, sleeping on a small cot Adana had arranged in a private office. He rarely ate with the others. But Adana saw what others didn't. He'd started creating something new. A strange, elegant software prototype written in hybrid Swahili and English. He called it Kifaru, meaning rhinoceros, a symbol of resilience. It was more than code. It was a digital fortress, a cybersecurity AI system that could learn from attack patterns and self-heal breaches in real time. This, he told Adana one evening, will protect not just your company. It can shield entire African financial networks. We don't need to keep borrowing foreign cybersecurity models. We can build one that speaks our language. Our context. Adana was speechless. But shadows still lurked. That same night, as Okello tested the Kafaru prototype, an alert pinged across Afrivault's firewall. Attempted breach detected. IP trace, Ghana. Protocol match, MIT signature. Okello's heart skipped. Benson wasn't finished. But this time, Okello was ready. The moment Okello saw the familiar code structure flashing across the screen, a chill crept down his spine. He leaned forward. It was unmistakable. Benson's digital fingerprint. The same erratic function calls, the embedded insults masked as variables, Mfuko empty, Ngurumzi. Cruel jokes. Humiliations. Benson wasn't just trying to break into Afrivault again, he was taunting Okello. Daring him to fight back. Daring him to fail. Okello closed his eyes. His mind drifted back to that cold night in Cambridge when Benson had stood in front of the review panel and called him a thief. The sting of betrayal. The humiliation. The way Adana had cried quietly beside him when they'd revoked her scholarship too, even though she was innocent. He clenched his fists. But this time, he wasn't a helpless man begging for justice. This time, he had Kafaru. He worked all night. Line after line, he strengthened the system, using Benson's own aggression as a weapon. Every time Benson's algorithm attacked, Kafaru learned. Adapted. Reinforced. By dawn, Okello had captured enough data to triangulate the location of the attacker, a rundown tech cafe on the outskirts of Accra. Adana's legal team took over from there. Interpol was alerted. Within 48 hours, Benson was arrested with multiple laptops, fake IDs, and cryptocurrency wallets linked to illegal financial schemes across 3 African countries. Afrivault became a global case study. But more importantly, Okello had faced his past. A week later, Adana gathered the company in the main lounge. Cameras rolled, but this time she insisted the world know the name of the man who had rebuilt their walls from within. Meet Mzee Okello, she said, gesturing proudly. Professor, coder, survivor. He is no longer a hidden hero. He is now our chief technology strategist and the architect of Kafaru. Applause thundered across the room. Brian, the skeptical engineer, stood up and apologized. I was wrong about you, sir. I'm sorry. Okello smiled. We all judge too quickly sometimes. Even I judged myself unworthy of redemption. As people shook his hand and hugged him, something in him healed. Not completely. But enough. That evening, alone on the office balcony, Adana handed him a small box. Inside was a golden keychain shaped like a phoenix. For your new office, she said. And your new beginning. Okello looked out over the city lights, his voice low. We must build spaces where broken people can be useful again. Not just out of pity, but out of belief. She nodded. That's exactly what Project Phoenix will do. And it starts with you. In a world that praises wealth but overlooks wisdom, the most powerful transformation is not from rags to riches, but from brokenness to purpose. Mzee Okello wasn't just given a second chance, he earned it. Not by proving himself to the world, but by proving to himself that failure was not final. Because sometimes, the right code doesn't just fix software, it rewrites destinies.